All right, I started recording. So factor taking out the GCF. Remember GCF stands for greatest common factor. So we're going to look at both 6 and 15 and see what they have in common. In this case, they have a 3. So what I'm going to do is divide out a 3. Remember, you multiply in. The opposite is divide out. So we're going to take out a 3, which means if I do 6 divided by 3, that's 2x. And I do 15 divided by 3, that's plus 5. Hannah, after you send me an email about asking me to help, sit down and pay attention, please. Next one. Over here, we're going to take out what's in common. Between 12 and 14 is a? 2. Distribute? No, because if you distribute, you know where you're going to get? Back to the original question. I'm doing the opposite of distribution, which is factoring. So I can take out a 2. I can also take out, this is x squared and x, so they have an x in common, so I can take out an x. I'm dividing out the x. You multiply in, or distribute in, you divide out. So that means it's going to be 2x on the outside. Then I'm going to have 12x squared minus 2x, 6x, and 14x minus divided by 2x, so minus 7.
Where'd the 2 go?
The what 2? 2x was in front.
No, the square. The 2 squared.
Oh, it's x squared divided by x to the first. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Next one. Looking at the numbers, 10 and 15 have 5 in common. X third, x second. So one has 3 x's, one has 2 x's. That's x squared. You know?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
And they both have y in common.
And both have 1 y in common.
Don't worry about it.
So that means on the outside will be 5x squared y. Parentheses. 10 divided by 5 is 2. X cubed divided by x squared. So 3 minus 2 is just x to the 1. Y divided by y is nothing. So we just leave it blank. Plus. 15 divided by 5 is 3. X squared divided by x squared completely cancels out. Y squared divided by y is just 1y left over. Make this 2 a little nicer. Yeah.
Like steps-wise, like if I want to write it out, what would you do first?
If you were to write it out, you look at each part separately, so normal numbers, then variable x, variable y. See what's in common, then divide out what's in common. If I were to put in the steps.
Okay, good. So, let's just say for this example,
So I look at 10 and 15,
yeah.
and I look at both of them, and I say, well, 10 and 15 both have 5 could multiply into it. So that's my 5. Then I look at x cubed and x second, so 3 and 2, right? So there's 3 fingers up on one hand, and there's 2 fingers up on the other hand. So there's 2 fingers in common. So I put x squared on the bottom. The same one, it's y on the first one, y on the second one. So there's 1 finger in common. So I put 1y. And then I divide. You subtract exponents, but you divide. Technically, you are dividing.
Well, 15 and 10 you divide.
Yeah.
What's in common. And then you do...
Subtract the exponents.
So then you subtract 3.
The exponents, yes.
So then it's just regular x, and then y... Wait, why do you not have to do plus anymore?
There's a plus right here.
How do you get the parentheses? I understand the part...
Oh, because you took it out from both of them, you put a parentheses because technically you go into both of them. The parentheses show up, I guess. It's kind of included. It's like a plastic bag when you go shopping.
So we only need to write the red part?
What?
We only need to write the red part like the test.
No, it's a multiple choice. So this is the answer to your multiple choice question. You don't have to show any work on the test. I'm going to show you how to do it.
But if we'll have paper.
Yeah, but I don't look at the work. I just look at the multiple choice bubbles.
Oh.
All right, next one. 12, 8, 16. So in this case, they all have a common of 4. Which means I could write 4 on the outside. 3x squared plus 2x minus 4. Yeah.
For the left for number 3, you just basically took out what you could from how much you can.
Yeah, for the whole page, just take out what you can. All right, I'm going to flip to the next page.
How do you 5x 2y? Wait, what's the
You missed it. You could check out the video later. All right. Factor using the factors of C. So the factors of C are things that multiply the level or the C that add to B. So I think things that multiply to 9 that add to 6. So in this case, there's only two things that multiply to 9. 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. 1 plus 9 is 10 and 3 plus 3 is 6. So in this case, 3 and 3 is my answer. So I would write x plus 3. Because they're exactly the same in this case, it's going to look like this. X plus 3 squared, okay? So in a multiple choice question, it's going to look like x plus 3 squared. Because they're exactly the same, I could write that. Same thing if I did 3 times 3, I could write 3 squared.
And we're allowed to do that on the calculator.
This you can't do because it's all variable, so you can't do that in the calculator. Or the calculator won't solve that for you.
Film a video for peer.
Go. Next one, 10x minus 24. So things that multiply to negative 24 that add to 10. So remember, you're multiplying to negative 24. So a common error is people are going to click 6 and 4. But positive 6 times positive 4 is positive 24, not negative 24. One of them has to be negative in order to multiply to a negative. So that is not the right combo. The correct combo is going to be 12 and negative 2. However it takes, how many it takes you, you have to find it, okay? So 12 and negative 2. So I'm going to write x plus 12 and x minus 2. Let's put there. X plus 12 and x minus 2. Oh, as a reminder, let's say you're tripping up on the, don't talk, sit down. So if you're having a hard time with the factors, remember what you could do is if you click y equals and you click, let's say it was 24. So 24 divided by x. If you do that and go to second table, all the numbers that pop up are going to be factors like 1 and 24, or 2 times 12, or 3 times 8, or 4 times 6. So that could be a way you could find factors, okay? Next one, x squared minus 7x plus 10. So in this case, I'm adding to a negative 7. So if there's positive 10 here, I'm trying to add to negative 7. So that's going to be negative 5. And, let me explain this first. So usually 5 times 2 gives you positive 7, right? But I need to add to negative 7. But I still need to multiply to a positive 10. So in this case, I'm going to make them both negative. The reason I do that is because negative 5 times negative 2 still gives me negative 10, or positive 10. But negative 5 plus negative 2 gives me negative 7. Which means the answer here will be x minus 5, x minus 2. Next one, factor by slide and divide, or slip and slide, or slide, divide, slide. There's a lot of ways we say it. So in this case, this happens when you have an a value over here. So what we're going to do is take this 3 and bring it over to the 8. When I bring it over there, that's a multiplication. I'm taking a loan. So the loan is x squared plus 14x plus 24. Remember, I borrowed that 3. I'm going to have to pay it back later. People forget that. So then I'm going to factor things that multiply to 24 that adds to 14. X plus 12 and x plus 2. Are you serious?
Where are they going?
Don't worry about it. So x plus, it's something that only they could experience, I guess. All right, so in this case, x plus 12, x plus 2. Remember, I borrowed a 3, so I need to pay back a 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. Over here, it's going to be x plus 4. And over here, you got to take the 3 over here. So it's 3x plus 2. we're going to do the same thing. Here we have an a value. We're going to take the 4 and lend it to the negative 6. So it's going to be x squared plus 5x of negative 24. Remember, since it's negative 6 is going to be negative 24. So we need things that multiply to negative 24 that add to 5. You do a little bit of work, you figure out eventually it's going to be 8 and negative 3. So I'm going to write this as x plus 8 and x minus 3. Then we have to divide by what we lended, or borrowed, I should say. Since I borrowed a 4, I divide by 4. So this is going to be x plus 2. And this is going to be 4x minus 3. Remember, if you can't pay off the loan, aka simplify the fraction, you got to bring it back to the bank, okay? Which is put it back in front. Okay. Go to the next set. This next test, which apparently we did April 28th, is the, quadratic graphing, okay? This is the parabola stuff. All right, there's a couple of things about this. Remember, there's the axis symmetry. The axis symmetry, you find out by using, I'll put it right here, negative b over 2a. You find the axis symmetry by doing negative b over 2a. Remember, the axis symmetry is going to be the x of your vertex. So after you find this number, you plug it into the equation to get the y value. It's always a blank comma blank. It's always a coordinate point, blank comma blank. And the y-intercept is always when x equals 0. No matter what, x equals 0. Now this one, you'll see that the axis of symmetry, the vertex and the y-intercept happens to be the same. That doesn't always happen, okay? So for this one, I'm going to do negative b over 2a. So a value here is the number in front of x squared, which is 1. The b value here is the number in front of the x. But wait a second. There is no x to the 1 power, so it's 0. And then your c value here is negative 2. Oh, your y-intercept is also always letter c. So negative 0 over 2 times 1. I don't even care what happens on the bottom, because if I have a 0 on top, it makes the whole thing 0. So my axis of symmetry is 0. Because this is 0, the x-axis of your vertex, the x value, of your vertex, automatically becomes 0. Automatically becomes 0. And then you're going to take this number, 0, and plug it into the equation. So y equals 0 squared minus 2. So 0 minus 2 is negative 2. So my y value of this is negative 2. And then your y-intercept is your c value. I already mentioned it earlier, but this happens to be the same, which is negative 2.
Don't be that guy.
You wanna pass this down.
Guys, go over there or something. Okay, next one. I don't have a water bottle. So A is 1, B is 4, C is negative 3. Always helps to identify first before you move on. All right, axis symmetry is still the same formula. Negative 4 over, or negative B over 2 times A, which in this case is negative 3. Oh, wait, no, it's negative 1, my bad. Or it's just 1. Go ahead. So it's going to be negative 4 over 2 or negative 2. So your axis symmetry is negative 2, which makes your x-axis negative 2, comma something. So then we're going to take this and plug it into the equation here. So negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 minus 3. Reminder, if you're going to put this in your calculator, make sure you put negative 2 in parentheses if you're going to square it. Otherwise, it's going to mess up and it thinks you're just saying the negative version of it. So 4 minus 8 minus 3. 4 minus 8 minus 3 is going to be negative 7. Now your y-intercept is your c value,
-3.
which is just negative 3. Remember, this is where it was simple. Next one. Your a value is negative 1. Your b value is 4. Your c value is negative 2. Negative b, 4, over 2 times a, negative 1. That's going to be negative 4 over negative 2. Double negative cancels out, so it's just like positive 2. Since this is a positive 2, we're going to take this and plug it into the equation. This is a little different. It's 2 negative x squared. So the negative is not in the parentheses, okay? The negative's not in the parentheses here. Plus 4 times 2 minus 2. So negative 4 plus 8 minus 2. That is going to be a positive 2. So it's going to be 2, 2. Your y-intercept is your c value.
-2.
So just negative 2.
What is the -4?
The y is in negative 4? It's negative b. So negative 4 over 2a. Next one. X squared minus 2x plus 3. We're going to do this one. Again, axis of symmetry is the same thing. So we're going to do A, B, C. So that's 1, negative 2, and 3. The axis of symmetry is negative 2 over 2 times 1, which is positive 2 over 2, which is just 1. So your axis of symmetry is just 1, which is also going to be the x of your vertex. So then we're going to take that and plug it into the equation. So 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 3. So 1 minus 2 plus 3 is 2. So 1, 2 is your vertex. Now, making the table. You could either use your calculator or you could do it by hand. I'll show you both right now. So when you make the table, always put your vertex in the middle. So your vertex is always in the middle, in this case 1, 2. Then your x values is going to be 2 smaller than the x, and the numbers are 2 bigger than the x. So 2 smaller is 0 and negative 1. And the numbers that are 2 bigger is 2 and 3. Now, if you were doing it by hand, you pick one of these and plug it into your equation. Remember, this should be symmetrical. So if you get 0, whatever number you get here, it should be here. And what number you get here should be here. With that in mind, we can use a calculator to our advantage. So in this case, I'm going to click. Let me go here. Let me just make this bigger so it's a little clearer what I click. So what I'm going to click is y equals, okay? I'm going to click y equals, and I'm going to plug into the equation as I see it. In this case, it's x. Remember, this button next to alpha is x. So x squared minus 2x plus 3. So x squared minus 2x plus 3. Now, I could graph that, and it gives me a shape, which is nice. But what I could do is make it a table. So I click second graph. And you see the blue word table up there. That makes it a table. And I want to go to where my vertex is, which is 1. So if you see here, I'm going to try to make this part bigger. At 1, it's 2, which makes sense. So at 0, it's 3. And at 2, it's 3, which makes sense. I know it should be the same. And another one, at -1, it was 6. And at 3, it was at 6. So after I have that, I could just graph the points. So let me do -1, comma 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let me use a different color so it's clear. Let's try. 0, comma 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, comma 2. 1 to the right, 2 up.
Wait, X is going
Right and left. X is right and left. So 2, comma 3 would be 2 right, and then 3 up. 3, comma 6 will be 3 right, 6 up. And you kind of draw your curve. Again, when I grade these,
Wait, how do you get the minimum of every table? Are you gonna use
you have to find the vertex.
Well, how do you find the vertex?
You do -b over 2a
Yeah.
to get the x-axis, or the x value,
Yeah.
and then you take that number and plug it into the equation.
Okay.
Okay. Now, solutions is where it hits the x-axis. In this case, this curve never hits the x-axis. So there is no solution here, okay? There's no solution.
So can we just write 0 or does it have
Zero's a number, so you can't write 0. It'll be, in the multiple choice question, I will say no solution. Okay. Next one. To find the axis symmetry is -b over 2a. A in this case is 1. B in this case is -2. C in this case is 1. So it's going to be negative of -2 over 2 times 1. Double negative is positive. So 2 over 2, which reduces to 1. So your axis symmetry is 1, which means your vertex is also at 1. Then we take that number and plug it into the equation. So 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 1. 1 minus 2 plus 1 equals 0. So it's 1 comma 0. Reminder, if you make your table, you always put in the middle the vertex. So 1 comma 0. And then your x-axis, or your x values, are just going to be 2 bigger and 2 smaller. So 0 and -1, and 2 and 3. Then you could take this and plug it into the calculator. To save time on the video, I'm just going to do the math. In this case, it's going to be a 1 and a 1. And in this case, it's going to be a 4 and a 4. But you could type in your calculator as to practice. In this case, we're going to graph this. So -1 comma 4. You could graph the middle and then go sideways, or you could graph left to right. It doesn't matter which order you do it. So -1 up 4. 0, so that's 0 left to right, up 1. 1 right, 0 up, down. 2 right, 1 up. And then 3 right, 4 up. Again, it should always look like a parabola. If you get like a W or an N shape or an M shape, you know you made something wrong. Now, solutions is where it hits the x-axis. In this situation, it hits the x-axis at one place, at 1 comma 0. So we look at the x value. What x value does it hit the x-axis?
1?
At 1. So our answer is 1. Not that there's one solution, but the number 1 is our answer.
Oh, so every time it hits the line?
Yes. And sometimes it can hit the line twice, so you have to point both of those out. So on a multiple choice question, I would have it already graphed, and I would just have you tell me where is the solutions, and you either tell me it's like whatever numbers are. Okay. All right. So how many solutions does parabola have? Remember, solutions are how many times it hits the x-axis. In this case, it does not hit the x-axis. It will never hit the x-axis because it's going up. So in this case, it has 0 solutions. In the next one, we're going to use the discriminant. This tells us how many solutions are.
You said we can't make 0 solutions for the number.
0 solutions is a statement. Like, you can't just write the number 0. But again, it's multiple choice, so it's not like you're not writing anything. You're just going to circle it. So in this case, there are 3 situations that happens. So there's 0 solutions. That happens when the determinant is negative, okay? When the determinant is negative. Oh, there's a spot on my screen. There's 1 solution. That's when the determinant is exactly 0. And there's 2 solutions. And that's when it is positive. So on a multiple choice question, I will have 0 solution, 1 solution, 2 solution. Since I need 4 options, I'm going to say 3 solutions. Keep in mind, you can never have 3 solutions. So if you circle that, I know you were guessing. You need to grab somebody?
So close. I benched you, buddy.
All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to always identify my ABC. So 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to use this discriminant equation. So it's 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5. So it's 16 minus 4 times 3 times 5, 60, which is 16 minus 60, negative 44. Again, I actually don't care about the number itself. The fact that it is negative, tells me it's 0 solution. Okay? Because the fact is negative, it's 0 solution. So your multiple choice options will be 0 solution, 1 solution, 2 solution, and I have to fill it out 3 solutions. So in this case, you circle 0 solution. Maybe I'll have the fake answer be negative 44 solutions. Yeah.
Are you gonna like give us the reason?
When I finish doing a final, I was planning to, but when I finish the thing, I'll tell you what I give you when I go. You will get that before the test, okay? Whether it's on a formula sheet or is it per question. All right, next one. This one, again, ABCs. 4, 7, negative 2. So in this case, it's going to be 7 squared minus 4 times 4 times negative 2. So this is 49. Negative 4 times 4 is 16. Negative 16. Negative 16 times 2 is positive 32. At this moment, you could probably tell this is going to be a big positive number.
Wait, what's the one next to 4?
81. What's up? 4, another 4.
No, on the bottom. Is that 9?
4, 4, negative 2. 4, 9, 3, 2. In this case, this is positive 81. Because this positive 81 is 2 solutions.
Why do you have 2 solutions for 81?
Because it's a positive number. We don't care what the number actually is. It's just the fact that it's positive. It's a
So negative is what, 0 solutions and positive?
2 solutions. And what happens if it's exactly 0? Do you remember?
1 solution.
Good. So ABC, 1, 6, 9. You probably could guess if I gave you a 0 solution and I gave you a 2 solution. Let's see. 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 9. 36 minus 36. Whoa, what a surprise. It's going to be 0, which means it is 1 solution. 1 solution, not solutions. All right, next one. Oh, we're almost done, actually. We're not going to finish today. We'll finish tomorrow, but let's see what we can do. So for this one, we're going to do a stem and leaf plot and mean, median, mode, and range. So stem and leaf, reminder, a stem and leaf plot. This is going to be the 10 spot, and this is going to be the 1 spot, okay? So am I looking here? I see I got 20s, I got some 30s, and I got some 40s, and I got some 50s. So I'm going to put a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. Remember, this represents 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. All right, now I look at my 20s first. It looks like the only thing I have is 29 in my 20s, so I'm going to put a 9 here. My next thing, I'm going to look at my 30s. I have a 33, a 33, a 36, and a 37. You want to put it in order, so 3, 3, 6, 7. Look at my 40s. I only got 42, so I just put a 42, or I put a 2 for the 42. And for my 50s, I only have a 6, so I put a 6 for my 56. That's my stem and leaf plot. Now, let's find the mean. The mean is that I add up all my values, 33, 36, 42, 29, 33, 56, 37. The benefit of multiple choice is that if you mess up on your calculator inputs, it's not going to mess up too bad. But the average here is going to be add all that up divided by how many numbers you have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to divide it out by 7 numbers. Oh, let me pull out my calculator. So that's going to be 33 plus 36 plus 42 plus 29 plus 33 plus 56 plus 37. That's 266. Divide that by 7. And that ends up being 38. So your average here is 38. The median is when I put it in order. So when I put it in order, and the stem and leaf plot could help you put it in order because it's automatically in order. But 29, 33, 33, 36, 37, 42, 45. Or 56, my bad. 56. In this case, I put it in order, and then I work from the outside in. So I cross out this, that's my outside. Then this is my new outside, I cross it out. And I get my new outside, I cross it out. So in this case, my middle is 36, so my median is 36. Remember, if you do it and you get 2 middles, you just add those 2 and divide it by 2. So you add them and divide by 2, aka find what's the number in between. The mode is really easy. The mode is the number that happens the most. In this case, looks like 33 happens twice, so it's 33. If you have 2 numbers that happen the most, let's say it was like 2 33s and 2 36s, you would have to write both 33 and 36. Remember, it's multiple choice, so, not too much tricky.
So we see, so it's the answer.
So one of them is going to be the answer, yeah. So 56 minus 29 is your range. It's the biggest number minus the smallest number. So this is going to be 27. Okay. We're about to ring, so I'm going to stop it here. Hopefully we finish tomorrow.